Welcome to Lunchbreak from the newsroom of the Ann Arbor News. I'm Stefanie Murray, and today I'm joined by Frank Marsik, a professor of meteorology at the University of Michigan. Professor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And it's probably no surprise that you are here today to talk to us a little bit about the crazy weather pattern that we've seen over the past several weeks, from rain and warm temperatures to ice, fog, flooding, even some blizzard-like conditions.
Definitely.
So first, I hoped you could tell us how normal is all of this and why is it happening?
Everything's normal. That's one of the things is that we often, our weather that we have changes quite a bit from year to year, and we sort of seem to think that there's this middle ground that should always happen. That's really not the case. The kind of weather we've been seeing, the last couple of months, is it different than we had last year? Sure, but a few years ago we had some very similar conditions, so it's not that unusual.
Okay, and when we were talking before, you mentioned something about the La Nina effect, and could you explain that for us and how that's affecting our weather patterns?
Sure. Basically, across the Earth, obviously different parts of the Earth get a different amount of energy from the sun. So the tropics are very warm, the poles are very cold. And so nature doesn't like that imbalance. So the ocean currents that we see and the air currents that we see, to a large extent, are trying to even out that imbalance. And so anytime you change the distribution of heat around the Earth's surface, the wind currents are going to change, and so our weather patterns are going to change. So over the past several months we've been in a La Nina. That means that the waters in the equatorial eastern Pacific are cooler than normal. And so usually what that means for us is that our jet stream shifts around and we have quite variable conditions, and a lot of times our storms start off in the southern Gulf states, they move up. You might notice that all of our weather patterns have been starting down around Oklahoma, Texas, picking up a lot of moisture, moving northward and dumping a lot of rain or snow on us, and once they get by us, the winds whip around from the northwest and they've been pulling in some really cold air too. So we're kind of going back and forth.
Does that explain then some of the temperature changes we've seen? 40 degrees one day, negative 10 the next day?
Yeah, definitely, because a normal pattern might have, we might go for a stretch where the jet stream is well to our south, and so we'll stay cold for a while, or it might stay well to the north and we'll stay warm for a while. But during La Nina occurrences, what we tend to see is high variability, and that's exactly what we've had.
Now, we've seen a couple good blizzards come in so far for us this year. Do you know around about how much snowfall we've gotten in this area?
Each of those two storms were somewhere on the ballpark of around 8 inches, depending on where you were. On the ballpark, we're already into the low 40s in terms of snowfall, in terms of inches, which, some La Nina years, that's all you get, and some you have quite a bit more. So you really can't say it's La Nina, we're going to have this much snow, but this year we've definitely gotten our share, and La Ninas don't just turn off like that, so we're likely to see these variable conditions probably for another couple of months at least.
Okay, last question then for you.
Okay.
A lot of Ann Arbor people are interested in this. Global warming, does that play any impact into what's happening outside now?
It really doesn't impact what's happening right now. I mean, it always, one of the things that we're thinking is that global warming can help with the extremes. There are certain patterns that are naturally occurring anywhere, but global warming may help to amplify those patterns. What we're seeing right now, though, primarily is being driven by what's happening with La Nina.
Okay. Well, thank you, Professor Marsik, for joining us today. And thank you for joining us during lunch break from the newsroom of the Ann Arbor News. I'm Stefanie Murray.